The days are close to the deadline for the 91 registered political parties in Nigeria to communicate the date of their party primaries for the 2019 general election, and that is to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now, these primaries will determine candidates for political parties in the country, or whoever they are going to field in the elections come 2019. How prepared are these parties for the primaries, and how will their conduct shape the political landscape? Nigeria Today will focus on some of these areas as well as others as we take on that discourse today. Welcome to the program. My name is Blessing Abu. Yes, I'd like to welcome my guest who is already seated in the studio. Mr. Kenneth Ikechukwu Anemena is a politician and, of course, is into other business as well. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, for the current conduct of political parties, everyone is looking out towards how the primaries will take shape. There are those for the direct, those for indirect. But generally, what do you make of the conduct of political parties as they gear towards 2019?
Effectively, this is the time we actually measure internal democracy in all the parties.
Right.
I'm from the Apuga stock,
Okay.
and what is playing out in our party is real internal democracy.
Why do you think so?
Yeah,
What are those tenets that people have you're upholding?
and the national chairman and the BOT and the party officials, they've been able to come up with parameters that will give us a credible primary. At least we know who the delegates will be, and we know the dates. The dates has been fixed in order to meet INEC deadlines.
Yeah.
So I think, and the way we are going, we are gearing up. At least I'm in Abuja today to submit my own form.
Okay.
So
great to know. Now, the implication of for those who are opting for direct primaries and those, whether it's for your party now or even other political parties, 91 registered political parties, that is not a main fate actually. And we know that such a huge number is going to be telling on what the political landscape is going to be, how it's going to be shaped. Now, what's the implication, and how do you think this will influence the situation on ground?
actually, we are just involving
Certainly.
the political parties in Nigeria because of the interruption of the military here and there. We can say we've not done badly. But looking at the whole picture, it will be good because of, as the most populated nation in Africa, or in the sub-Saharan Africa, we need to move faster than we are doing. Internal democracy, yes. Indirect primaries, that is what we are doing today in Apuga, because we have some statutory delegates, and then we have an ad hoc delegates. It's good the way it has been fashioned. It encourages people to be all-inclusive approach.
Really?
Yes.
Because for some, they're of the opinion that, of course, party primary method or primary election method should be to the interest of the larger members of the party. But there have been cries here and there that it's a way of some particular politician of holding on to power and actually sidelining some members of the party. Where do you stand?
Let's take a look at the National House of Assembly. Everybody cannot come there at the same time. We come there on representative basis. And that is what also play out in the political parties. The ward executives, the local government executives, the state executives, and the national working committees, all of them were elected. And we played a role in electing them.
Before the election.
Before the
election, at least delegates gathered to actually made some of those selections.
Yes.
Like they put them. Were they of the overall interest of everyone present, not just because this is the anointed one or this is the one whose anointing has been given?
No, in Apoga it's not like that. The internal democracy is strong, and we are also taking the stake higher. What I know and what I want Nigerians to do in electing people into political office, that's the internal democracy. As you're electing people, elect people bearing in mind that in another 4 years, in another 2 years, a time like this will come. So you're not just electing anybody. This person is going to represent us. When maybe we want to use an indirect method to elect people that will go and stand in for election. So as we are doing that, just as we are doing in the national election, people are going there in the national house or in the state house to represent us. It's the same method. So what we should do, as we elect those people, we must ensure that they are credible people. And we have a lot of them. In my party, we have a lot of them.
So if people, almost every party says, we have credible people, we are going for this because they are credible. So what's the Ferrari? What's the noise about, okay, people should actually adopt a particular method, which is maybe for those who are clamoring for the direct, saying, okay, it will help curb some of aspects of godfatherism, money bags coming to put themselves like a burden on their party, and not having the right candidate to actually come forward and serve the people. So why the hue and cries?
That is what I'm saying. Prima facie, as we are electing people in the wards, in the local governments, in the states, and in the national working committee, you take your time, because they come out by form, just the way we are trying to do in this national election.
Yes.
People also standing. So you have, as the electorates, to deny one person and approve one person's going to represent you.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Okay. All right. When we return from this break, we'll take a look at some of this. One, we're going to be having another guest join you, and we're also going to take a look at what you think about the people being able to have their voice heard, even whether it's a money bag in the party or a non-party, or let me say, not the money bags now, this time around. So what it takes to actually have the voice heard and have such party primaries, whether direct or indirect. We'll find out all about this after the break, and you'll be joined by another guest. You're watching Nigeria Today, and our focus is the road to party primaries in Nigeria. Who and what will be involved, and how do we go about it? All after this break.
The Nigerian Television Authority News 24 channel, your dependable all-round news station, offering you world-class news programs, documentaries, spotlights, promos, and information highlights. Take advantage of our network reach and advertise your interest, goods and services with us. NTA News 24, first equals with digital broadcasting. You can reach us on channel 21 terrestrial TV and channel 101 on the Star Times platform. For more inquiries, please call Coretta 0803 618 9986 or hang on 0803 379 0884. Join us today.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
You're welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today, and I have joining me in the studio, we have another guest. But before we'll get to meet him, so Anemana was on the focus of what it takes to have the voices of people in a party heard. What has been your experience with other members who are not money bags, and how they've been carried along in the program?
Well, the internal democracy in my own party, the party brought out their guideline, and everybody has been encouraged. If you know that you can do and represent your people effectively, consciously representing your constituency, you come forward. At least the amount charged for the expression of interest and the collection of the fund is within reach, so that
Within reach for people like you.
I'm not a money bag.
Okay.
So it's within reach.
Okay.
If I can afford it, then I know so many people can afford it.
Even at the different levels.
I just at the different levels.
Oh, okay.
For
All right, I just said a guest joined us, and they would like to introduce Elder Emma Okoro, who is a public relations consultant as well as a public affairs analyst. Elder Okoro, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we started off with the question, the current conduct of political parties and how their conduct generally will be able to shape the upcoming primaries. What's your take?
First of all, let me thank Anyemena for giving us some opening. In the last 1 week or so, as a journalist and as a peer consultant in Nigeria, I've been able to look at the parties. One great interest, and that's going to interest NTA, is younger people. I was shocked. I saw a young man they call Uche Onyama.
Okay.
Very young man. And he was so vibrant, he wanted to run, he wants to run for the PDP as the youngest candidate. I was so excited because the people of Ben, the local government in Abia State, they've had elderly people. And the lady, for example, was keeping it there for 16 years. And so a large number of people came all over the Abia. I was scared. I said, "Are you running for president?" He says, "No." He said, "Time to retire this lady has come." And that was one thing that I found
very interesting.
You know, you're talking about too young, not
too young
to run. And this young man emerges. And then we came back. I spoke to a friend of mine, they call Yekini Nabena. His excitement is the peace that prevails in the APC. Over 200 people are obtaining forms, and it's like a carnival. You know, before there would have been people with tension, knocking people down. And I want to tell you this on a very happy note. I saw 3 journalists who are running, and I said to them, by God's grace, if you win, we who are your colleagues will support you. And the acting national public secretary of the APC, Yakini Nebena, has been providing a thorough, friendly atmosphere for all contestants. And I will also shock you. A young lady who is physically challenged is running in AMAC. So that's the kind of primary.
So it's an opening that is having all its flavor.
I was so happy that she came with a lot of people clapping and dancing, that somebody who is physically handicapped, a young lady who is known internationally. And when NTA picked her story, I was happy. I said to her, "You really want to run?" She says, "Yes, I want to be part of this thing and include me and speak about women and speak about things."
I'm glad. I can feel your excitement as well. That is
yes.
why we need to know how much of this preparation being put in place by the parties to actually help the electorate, to give them that orientation, or what we say, the conscientization of what it is and what it takes to actually have free primaries, whether it be direct or indirect. Let's take a look at what your views are over that.
Now, what I have seen that makes me happy is the young men, the young women who are running in different parties.
Exactly.
They give me hope that Nigeria is going to be doing well. And also this young man they call, I'm sure he's not come to your studio, Yekini Nabena. was a very strong activist, youngest of them all in the APC structure. What made me happy is he's treating everybody as if they were in one party. He was not segregating about ethnic lines, religious lines. Yekini Nabena has given me hope that our young people would make things happen. But I've also said something to Yekini. I said, Yekini, listen, you are forward-looking in bringing a different platform of peace, unity, and integral joy to the political process. But let us be sure that those whom we are going to present to Nigeria in 2019 have something to offer. My group, the International Network of Media Access, we want to say that we want to have a debate between these people so we know what are you going to offer Nigerians. It's not a question of, you know, I want to run, my people want me to run. That badadash is gone. We want to interrogate people. What is it you are going to do for your people? I asked this boy, Uche Onyama, for example, I said, young man, are you not afraid that you're going to clash with Tatans who are older? He says, no, that in Ozuitem, in Abia, that erosion has turned the community.
So are you saying...
And so he's bringing to bear, bringing the whole world to know that a community that's been rural, that's been agriculturally inclined, that men and women are being washed out, and nobody's bringing their case to the world. That his job is to make sure that the voice of people of Ozuitem are heard and known.
Okay, what's the position for INEC in all of this? What some of the activities that you have mentioned, he has mentioned as well, for outcome of primaries, which is very key, that will at least set the tone that truly we're ready, despite the aspects of our democracy process. How do we begin to put in one place what the activities are before INEC? How much of it is INEC the involvement and being carried along, activities of the party?
Well, INEC, their primary duty is to ensure that at least almost all the eligible voters are registered.
And this are things you're seeing all through the parties?
Yes. And in my ward, in Anambra State, they've actually done a lot towards that. But I'll bet to say that they have not been actually been mobilized to effectively and efficiently do that, carry out that responsibility.
Okay. Well, I asked a question against for both of you actually. Well, for most people, they're not still comfortable with the level of voter education, as well as other, because before this time, last elections, there were jingles, there were so many messages being taken to the nook and crannies of the country. But it will appear, I wouldn't know, you are on the field too.
Yeah, the environment is kind of changing because of the kind of internal democracy we are building. It's not just jingles. It's not just...
I just use that as an example.
Yes.
The
it's
level
not
of
just
voter education
jingles,
on who,
branding of your vehicles and things like that.
So are the parties
electorates
doing that with the electorate?
The electorates today are in a different environment, given the denial they have experienced over the time.
Okay.
Because take, for instance, constituency funds. It doesn't trickle down because the word constituency means the funds belongs to the constituency. The representative might be a budget holder. It doesn't mean the money belongs to you. So if it doesn't get down to the constituency and people don't see it and people don't get to start to do anything the first year, the second year, the third year, maybe the fourth year, as we are crowding in now for another elective post, people will now start to say or seem to be impacting and investing on constituency projects. The question is it for the first year? Is it for the second year? Is it for the third year or for the last lap? People are changing. A lot of questions are being asked by the younger generation. And like the consultant said, we are becoming more and more and more aware.
Right.
I can tell you, buying of votes, people are looking for something that is sustainable.
Yeah.
And not just the money they will get on that very day.
So are there no concerns about issue of vote buying still very much out there for us to see?
No, we are trying to educate the electorates. If you buy your vote, and at the end of the day, you don't expect the person to come back and now start to impact on you by way, like in the young ones, giving them, developing them and giving them empowerment programs and so on.
Elder Okoro,
Yes.
share with us more on this voter education and enlightenment for the electorate. So it won't just be the more the parties, the more the problems we're going to face at election come 2019. What's the roadmap?
I have to tell you this now, and I'm sure I've said it before. When I was in New York, my friends blamed us for not building up a viable INEC. INEC is not competent to run election in Nigeria. I've said it many times. I'm an editor.
Why do you think so?
The reason is
they are
this.
doing their job.
Well, that's what you tell me. Election management is not a key party. For example, NTA has the highest quality of trained communicators in Africa, and you're not using them to get to reach. I used to be news manager of this NTA.
Really?
In the early 90s. I left NTA in 1994.
Okay.
The quality of manpower here, if you give NTA a job of telling people about a matter, in 1 week, the community will respond.
So how do you think INEC can redirect its steps in all of this?
I have told the INEC Commission, when I was in Ekiti as an observer,
Okay.
I saw INEC people moping, staying in Ascans as people were flouting our laws. I give you an example. When I went to register for my PVC, a young girl asked me, Elder, please spell Emmanuel for me. When I came home, my daughter was crying. I said, that girl has a bachelor, asking me to spell Emmanuel. And if a girl has EA, she's EA at INEC, cannot spell Emmanuel. What of those people in the Sweden, rural area, or in Zamfara, or in Meduguri, or in Anambra?
They might be able to spell it better.
They may not
That's
spell
it.
Okonkwo if they can't spell Emmanuel, which is English name. Now look at the point I'm making. I thought there should have been a thorough going reform to train INEC to be at par with NTA. You know what I'm saying? So NTA is involved in informing, educating, and entertaining our people. It go anywhere in Nigeria. NTA is making great impact. Look at when Ebola came. You didn't know what NTA did?
Yes, we ran
They went through drama, they went through news, they went through, and when you knew it, except you were not living in Nigeria, you will know that NTA is focusing on communication about Ebola. And before you know it, we were not victorious on the plane. So NTA and other news media, because NTA reaches every part of Nigeria and beyond.
And beyond.
As I said, as I'm talking now, my daughter in London is listening to me in India.
Great.
And I'm saying so, the thing you talked about, sensitization. INEC should carve out a big budget so that they can make sure that at the end of this 2019 election,
to buff up what they have already as enlightenment.
what they have is minuscule, my sister.
Okay. Finally,
Why not a direct allocation to NTA to carry out that function? Must it come through INEC? As we are making your normal yearly budget, we know when the elections are coming at various times. INEC, NTA should capture it as a cost pool to carry out that very activity, because all of us are playing the same game to ensure a credible.
We are playing our part. INEC certainly will play its own part, I'm sure.
Oh?
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Ikechukwu Anemena, politician. We'll appreciate your insight on the program today. We also like to appreciate Elder Emma Okoro, public relations consultant, plus public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for coming on the program. That's the program for today, Nigeria Today, and we also thank you for staying tuned. Join us again tomorrow for another insightful edition of the program. Nigeria Today comes up every day of the week, and you can actually watch this edition or any other edition online. YouTube, that's at youtube.com/MTA News 24 Hub. My name is Blessing Abu. Enjoy the rest of the day.